I'm getting ready to look at her.
Good afternoon and welcome to Community Connect. I'm Janie Bordner. I am your host. And with me today, as always, I have the lovely Sarissa Powdrill.
Hello.
How are you today, Sarissa?
I'm just fine. Happy birthday. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. I've been sick for a week or so, but so I have that, kind of sitting at the bar drinking voice, so I apologize for that. But I think it actually is better than my regular voice. So
No, it isn't,
so.
but it is kind of cute.
So what's happening at Community Council this week?
A lot is happening. Right now, we're just getting geared up for our CEO reception, so a lot to celebrate. I think it's a birthday party here in the studio as well, but it's all about celebrating new levels and celebrating our new CEO.
So when is that going to be? September 5th?
September 5th. The flyer, Travis will help us at the end here, but September 5th at Jackson Walker LLP downtown on Ross, and everyone can register right now, as well as more news. Our CEO is up for CEO of the Year award, so we'll have that link provided for you shortly so we can vote. So it's a lot to celebrate with Miss Janie Bordner. I'm gonna rub shoulders and get some of that favor.
You know what? That was really kind of a surprise. So the Dallas Business Journal has this thing where they have like the most admired CEO, and so I got an email the other day that said, "Hey, you've been nominated," and so it's four other. It's four nonprofits. So it's the Community Council, United Way, Texas Can,
and Big Thought.
and Big Thought. So we'll send out the link because we want to win. I'm just going to say, not because I want to be the best, but just because the Community Council does such great stuff.
Absolutely.
So today with us we have some really great guests. We have Rick McCall, who is the principal of Material Supply Solutions, and we have Denise Nolan, who is the Chief Development Officer as well. How are you guys today?
Welcome.
We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
Delighted to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. So Denise and I met a month or so ago, and it felt like that we were like long-lost sisters.
Yes.
So I have 5 sisters, and I don't get along very well with them, but I love Denise, so we're going to...
Likewise.
She's going to take the place of some of my sisters. But so tell us a little bit about Material Supply Solution.
Okay, so essentially we are a provider of commercial building materials for construction companies. And our difference is that we provide a credit term, meaning when they have to pay us back. We provide a credit term that's specific to the individual project or the contract. And how that's different is most of the industry that provides a 30 or a 60-day window of time for them to pay for their materials, when they're only collecting their funds maybe every 80 or 90 days. So it creates a huge problem for them that they're not getting paid before they owe for their materials. So we started Material Supply Solutions as a reaction to helping friends in the construction industry not find that solution. So yes, we're a fund of investors that pool our money, and then we are a material supplier to only commercial construction projects. But so we solve working capital problems where if a new contractor wanted to move from a $100,000 contract to $1 million contract, if he had the ability to deliver that, if it was a 50% requirement for working capital for materials, we can eliminate that altogether, where he can go out and bid $1 million job knowing that he has $500,000 of materials backing from Material Supply Solutions. So we allow them to grow into their true delivery capacity, not what they're hamstringed by as far as their own working capital. So it seems to be the biggest hurdle to those businesses that are really trying to grow, is that if you're growing quickly, your business requires more working capital every month, and sometimes more than the profits you made last month. So it's very cash hungry, and many times they just can't do it. So we try to come alongside those entrepreneurs that have the ability to deliver more, but don't have a working capital solution. And the typical financial solutions, banking and things like that, they just haven't done real good, and they don't have great programs for approaching the construction industry. It's been dangerous for them in the past. Just they don't know how to underwrite and make sure that they're getting paid. So a lot of times in downturns or making bad decisions, they've just gotten wiped out in being in construction. So with a little bit of banking background, actuarial background, underwriting risk, and then being in and around the construction industry, brought those worlds together for me to just kind of identify this underserved area of demand in construction.
Very underserved.
So you're helping like small businesses kind of grow and become bigger businesses.
Correct.
I know that you, Denise, shared a story with me about one subcontractor that was very small and then was able to really kind of grow his portfolio, I guess.
Yeah, when he came to us, he just had started out on his own, and a small mom and pop run family, and he quickly advanced in taking on larger jobs and evolved to where he's able to take on, jobs that he would never have done before. So there's a great kind of a good feel out of that when you're helping businesses grow and helping families.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I know you started your business about 5 years ago.
Correct.
So is it bigger than it was? Did you start big and
Yeah, so we
stay
started
big?
with basically a $100,000 proof of concept investor, and we're managing over $6 million now. We just had a group come do due diligence auditing and things like that from Atlanta, and we've got a $25 million new commitment. So we're in the next 2 quarters we'll grow by a factor of 5 with our capacity to help new clients.
That is amazing. So if a subcontractor or someone needs your help, how can they reach out to you?
So they can find us through Denise is the easiest way, and we try to keep our process as simple and quick as possible. It's a 1-page credit application and last year's tax return, and that's all we require. We'll have a 24-hour notice up to $1 million worth of materials.
So you have a website or?
We do.
Phone
It's
number?
materialsupply.com is the easiest way to plug in with us. And Denise, you can give your phone number too.
All right, this is just my business phone number. It's 469-388-4777.
Yes, please don't call her and tell her you think she's cute.
You can.
You can call her and tell her.
As long as you're filling an
She-
application.
Yeah, but fill out an application at the same time.
Yeah, so that's the easiest way for them to plug in with us. And something for them to know is we underwrite not just that first person, which is in a typical credit application for maybe Home Depot or Dow Tile or somebody like that.
Right.
It's based on you alone, either your business EIN or your Social Security number and your credit worthiness. We underwrite not only that person. We don't want to do business with people that are in trouble or being sued or something like that. However, we underwrite looking at not just the contractor, but the general contractor that they're working for, the project itself, the owner-developer, because in our line of business, Texas laws protect us in such that we can go to each one of those individuals to get paid. So it's an interesting credit picture that person may not be the greatest surety in an underwriting position, but we can still get a great feeling and be able to fund well beyond their ability to pay or qualify because we have rights against the project.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and help them catapult through to these different ceilings of growth that they're fighting.
I'm sure that this is kind of a growing thing because, the national bird of Dallas is the crane.
Yes.
So with all these construction, with all these construction projects going on, do you just kind of think it's really just going to keep on, and do you see any?
I do. I
leveling
believe
out?
that. My first business mentor told me that in development and in and around construction, it's not what you make along the way, it's what you're holding in exposure when the music stops. And the music always stops. So in the construction and real estate, things are up and down. And so from an underwriting background, we're very sensitive to making sure we're not overexposed in any one industry or at any one time on any one project. We watch closely what the trends of the nation and our individual regions are doing just to make sure that we don't need to begin to exit some of those areas as a risk pool. But Yeah, for the main port, anything
No.
else on that?
No, it's growing. Every day it grows. You just
Yes.
and it's a lot of it's word of mouth right now. A lot of people do not know who we are and what we can do to help their businesses grow.
Well, that's nice. So, yeah. Again, your website is
Materialsupply.solutions.com.
awesome.
It takes the math whiz to run this type of business. I had a couple of questions, and I should have been ready. What partnerships? What does your partnership look like, especially with Community Council of Greater Dallas? We're looking to do some nice work with you. Can you kind of explain to us a tad bit of what we'll be looking forward to? I want to know.
Sure. Well, I'm working back with Janie, obviously. I'm trying to introduce her to some of the GCs that we have, and also introducing her to different organizations that have skilled labor training. This morning I sent one over for the Hispanic Association that are doing OSHA training for construction. So just trying to connect the dots and helping everybody to make it a better community, especially in the construction world.
So thank you so much.
Yeah, because we've started a new Veterans to Work program, and a lot of them are in construction. And so Denise has really been instrumental in kind of helping us find employers that will hire some of the people that come out of our, out of our programs. And so that's really kind of what we're all about here at Community Connect, is really how can we all work together to make the community a better place.
Yes.
And so I appreciate that.
Awesome. And how does it feel to be a woman in the construction industry?
I love it. Sorry. I love it. But, we're very unique in what we offer. So it's not like we have any competition out there, and we make a difference.
You absolutely do.
Yeah. The general
Awesome
contractors
program.
love us because they know if any of their subs work with us, that the materials are delivered on the job site, and the subs have to show up and do the work. So.
That's nice.
Love that it's the easy process. A one-sheeter get you going, or to tell you what you need to work on to be able to be a part of the program. But I love that it's an easy process. It's not complicated.
No, keep it simple.
So what are some of the things in the community that you guys are really passionate about?
Well, obviously helping the community. I do a lot of volunteer work with the Source of Hope, feeding the homeless. I also volunteer for Foundation of Choice, which is helping first generation low-income families go through college. And then I'm also on the Association for Trump Over Alzheimer's. So yeah,
Very
busy
nice.
girl.
Yeah, I
Very.
see so. And so I always like to throw this in that Denise has some brothers and they live in Ireland, right?
I was born and raised in Ireland,
So
yes.
that is where I want to go, because there's my people are there. And so I don't know her brothers, but I'm going to go stay
Gonna
with
get
her
to
brothers.
know them.
So,
You'll be welcomed with open arms.
so that's awesome. So you just came back from Cabo,
Yes,
so that was nice.
I had a great time. Went down for 4th of July with one of my best friends, and we had a wonderful time.
So Rick, you must be a very nice boss to let your employee off to go to Cabo. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, when we support her in all of her volunteering time and all those things also. Yeah,
But
she's a
here's the other
fantastic
part.
developer.
While we were there, sorry, Rick, I met one of the developers for Dallas who's
Shut
coming to
up,
town, and we're
Cap.
going to go out to dinner.
And Mr. McCall, do you have a mentorship program, or do you mentor people in the construction field individually on your off time? Whenever you have off time, I see you like to provide mentorship.
I do, and no, that typically happens a little more organically, where I'll discover some business that I just really believe in. And yeah, that was so. I was mentored by two different guys that still have shaped my leadership outlook and my theory around business principles. And so I'm very dedicated to passing that back on. And yeah, so usually through businesses that I've either owned or interacted with, or people that I've hired, or people that come through Material Supply Solutions. We just find individuals that may not have had anyone around them to teach them some of those higher learned principles. But they have the intellect, they just haven't had the access. And then, so there's so many things that can be unlocked for them with just, almost a very basic paradigm shift around how to see things, and taking a minute to put your tools down and then take a look at an entirely separate thing. And it's a complicated thing to try and run in construction, especially in forecasting working capital and cash flow and what's going to happen, when you're going to get paid, how you're going to get paid, managing crews, then trying to be that trade expert, doing billing, managing your insurance things, and just knowing that all those things are in place. And then, just some overall management and theoretical principles that they have the ability and capacity to understand, just haven't been taught.
And being that my husband, shout out to husband, just finished his HVAC schooling and all of that, and I know they tapped into what you just spoke about. Do you ever go have people that would like to be a client and are denied with your process, but still turns to you for help on how they can maybe later in 6 months come back to later be approved? Do you?
So we never flat deny anyone. We never just send people packing of no, you're just not somebody we want to deal with, and we're on to the next guy. We will always coach back of here's what we needed that you didn't have, and here's why, to help them understand from that standpoint that they're not just being turned down. I don't want them to just be discouraged and sent away. Good. I want them to understand that no, here's what we need, and even counsel to some degree. Here's maybe even a half step that would get you closer. And then there are people that we've just that do have very special circumstances, right? And typically in a regular financial world, there's no mechanism for anybody to get in there and understand any of that. You know, there's no art to it. It's all numbers. It's matrix lending. If you're this credit score and you have that, you know, history or something, then we'll give you some money. So we do have some people that have had some special situations where they don't. I mean, if somebody rolled in somewhere else and said, I haven't filed taxes for 3 years, they'd close the door, right? Yeah. But we have those situations, and then we start to understand why and how, and then underwriting their individual projects. Again, sometimes we work towards people also that maybe are startups, right? They're brand new. So they had a tax return with $10,000 on it last year, which typically would be an automatic denial. But what we say is, no, on that side, we can't just do kind of a blanket approval of a certain dollar amount or anything like that. Bring us the individual projects. So we can't underwrite you in particular. You wouldn't have like an open base account. However, bring us your projects, because we can underwrite your project if we believe in your ability to deliver the project.
That's really good.
So,
that is nice.
Yeah,
That's really good.
That is very nice. So if you had like one word of advice to like a small subcontractor that was just starting up and might need to come to you, what kind of things do they need to bring? What are the things that they need to learn about, I guess, the most?
I would say the most important lesson that I think that they end up learning is when they're brand new and they don't have their foot in the door, many times they end up working for, unfortunately, unscrupulous general contractors or people that have taken advantage of other trades, so they don't have anyone left, and so they're out looking for new guys, and then the new guy is always eager, right? Like if it's your first time and somebody says, hey, I'll give you a $100,000 contract, the excitement of that tends to blind them to what that theoretical business situation is that this person is asking you to do maybe $50,000 of work before you get paid. So you're extending him $50,000 of credit, and if you're starting out, you don't have $50,000 of credit to give him. So it's amazing to me how many guys just sign a contract with no research about the project or the general contractor himself, and no. So yeah, my advice is that wait for the right guy, because that can ruin a business real early on if you have a major setback or loss like that. And unfortunately, that's just it's a real thing that happens in contracting. And so yeah, that we do have a program also where we tend to help be able to tell. We have such a decent client base that we're able to say, you know what, let me talk to whomever, say your husband, HVAC is just starting out, and we know he's a hard worker and he has the ability to do the mechanical scope of HVAC, then we love to hook that person up with some of our general contractors or someone like that, because they do come to us to say, who do you have in this scope? Who do you work with? Because they know that at least at some level, some of their financial issues are resolved by not being on the hook for their materials every month. You know,
Really
so.
good. Really good. Underserved. Seriously.
I know. That is
Now I
absolutely-
understand. When Denise comes in, I'm just looking at her and I ask no questions. So now to get educated,
Yeah.
it feels very nice program. What I know a lot of women that are into the real estate investment, buying up homes in our neighborhoods and getting them redesigned, reconstructed for families. Do you have any? You've given a lot of advice. Do you have any advice in that realm of property investments in single family homes?
So flipping, is that what you're
Flipping,
talking about?
basically.
Yeah. So it seems like that particular segment has become more and more competitive with, unfortunately, people overpaying with a lack of insight to how much that property is really going to cost them. Yeah. So they'll buy a property not knowing, what the true cost of rehabbing it is to that certain as repaired value. I would encourage them to know for sure that cheap is almost never good and good is almost never cheap. So there is a
That's
And
a
it's-
T-shirt.
and
T-shirt.
it's difficult. So yeah, there is when people ask for investor pricing, I think they need to communicate a little bit more to that in saying that I want the best contractors that I can get at a price that fits into my budget. So they need a guy that will give them a discount because there's a chain of work, say. There's multiple houses. But you don't want the cheapest one-off guy. That just typically doesn't work out.
And repeat that quote again. Cheap is
Almost never good, and good is almost never cheap.
right.
That is a
Said
t-shirt.
by
That is
Mr.
a T-shirt. See what
McCall.
you just did?
I think it might be a T-shirt.
Don't
actually.
sue me. I'm gonna have to steal it.
We have a whole online store.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, so and then I just think just getting good leadership mentors is a huge thing, because if you're going to grow in almost any trade or any business, you are going to have to surround yourself with people and let go of things in order to grow. So your leadership
looked at
training,
me.
right? Your leadership training is going to be your most important training. It's not going to be accounting or legal or learning, how to hang drywall better. It's going to be about leadership, and leadership is what's going to allow you to come to the next level where you can grow an organization underneath of you that delivers the same product that's giving you the growth potential in the first place. So
Good advice.
it's a big miss a lot of times, and I know that a lot of my peer group, we love that. We love to pass that on and spend time and watch guys say some of those things. I see some of my mentored guys with their people saying things that I've said to them, and it's just one of the proudest moments you can have as an entrepreneur and investor and business owner, is to watch them bloom into that person and then have success with it. So
Great advice. I love
Yeah,
it.
so as we wrap up, how just tell us, a couple of things that you would like for the audience to know about your program, about you. What are the 2 takeaways?
okay, so I think the number one takeaway is that we can solve those material supply issues that they have, and that working capital of trying to be able to go get bigger jobs and then being precariously tied to make sure that last job pays you, or you can't buy materials for this next project or get sued because you didn't show up. So just allows them to exit, just beginning to imagine a world where none of their personal working capital is ever tied up in materials as far as a capital contribution goes.
That's a lot.
And
That
also
is
to
huge.
realize that, so if, for instance, your materials are 50% of your working capital costs, if I resolve those for you, you can do twice as much work. And to
That's
understand that, you can grow by a factor of 2 just by getting hooked into our program.
That's really
The other
good.
thing is that if they were to run across someone that was trying to take advantage of them, we have the wherewithal to stand up to that person and make sure they don't get away with it. So sometimes that's tremendous extra benefit, is that when people find out that we're here not paid, and we will come after you, and we will make sure that you have a righteous action for our subcontractor. Many times we get them paid as a result of working with us.
That's awesome.
That's nice.
Yeah, they're protected.
And so you
You
guys,
can't beat that.
I
That's
know,
a
right?
whole wraparound.
Yeah.
right, and you're the only ones that do it.
As far as we know, the way that we're doing it, yes.
Yeah.
And Google makes the world relatively small right
Yes,
now, and we
it does.
don't find anyone else that's doing it the way that we're doing it and approaching it the way we
So
are.
one more time, phone number and website.
So materialsupply.solutions.com, there is a business line on there, and they can just say that they're a new business looking to hear more about the program, and then Denise or one of our other people will get a hold of them right quick.
That's amazing.
And,
Thank you.
and does it have to be a business in Dallas? Can they be
No,
outside of
no,
Texas?
we're exploring all other states also.
Yeah.
So we're looking
Yeah.
at Florida. We've been in 5 or 6 other states already. So it does not have to just be in Dallas. No.
Awesome. Very nice. So as we wrap up, Sarissa, you know, you are the social media queen. So tell our own website.
I thought she was about to tell me, okay, we try to wrap up. Shut up, Sarissa.
No.
Our website is ccadvance.org. Look forward to our our welcome CEO reception on September 5th. You can register via our website at ccadvance.org to RSVP for that event. We want to thank Jackson Walker Law Firm for sponsoring this event, as well as we have our North Texas Giving Day coming up September 19th. So keep Community Council on your minds, and if you give nothing but $5, it's a huge blessing.
That is true. Right now we are in a fight against poverty, and we say it every time. So we move families forward and we leave poverty behind. And we can only do it with your help. So we are in a campaign to get 300 people to give $100 a month. So if you know somebody that can give $100 a month, if you can give $100 a month, just go to our website, click on there, and do monthly giving, and $100 a month will pay for groceries for a family of 4. So it really, your money is going a long way. So every dollar that you spend with us, we give $7 worth of services to a family.
And we kick poverty in the butt.
That's right. So we are in a fight against poverty, and we are going to win it. So we appreciate you and your support. And this is really exactly how that you connect in your community. If you want more information about how you can help, how you can get involved, please, please, please go to our website, ccadvance.org. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for
ladies.
being here.
Thank you, Rick.
We appreciate your time.